Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Marika Coleman. She is an Alabama state senator from Pleasant Grove, a Democrat. And she's calling out the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission, as she should be, because it sucks. And it has wasted nearly $8 billion of taxpayer money without delivering medical cannabis access as promised. Now, I personally think that this whole thing is a generally bad idea all the way around. That's just me. But here we have licenses being issued, but there's a lot of lawsuits, there's legal battles, there's all this other stuff. And this was all supposed to be rolled out by 2023. Obviously, it has not happened yet. So that fight continues to go on. I'm for blowing the whole thing up, but I know that's not going to happen. There is far too much money involved in this conversation, so I don't expect that we're going to be seeing anything like that in the future. So it looks like we're going to muddle our way through this.
Number 6.
Let's think about this story here for a second, because I'm kind of torn on it, but I want to share it with you. Huntsville City Councilwoman Michelle Watkins, she took over for Devin Thief, is expressing concerns about a potential system that would allow police officers to have access to cameras inside schools during emergencies. Seems like a no-brainer to me, but like active shooter situations and things like this. The city council approved the measure, but she's concerned that the police are going to misuse it. But what does the misuse of this system look like, and what happens in that situation? I just want to know what those are. She voted against it. City Council President John Meredith emphasized the importance of rapid response to emergencies, citing past tragedies like Uvalde. But Watkins warned of potential legal risks and overreach. I don't know what those are, though. I need to think about that.
Number 5.
Our good friend Scott Buttram of the Trussville Tribune is the latest media figure to roast AL.com for publishing what he called unfounded claims of racism against Alabama entities. Demanding a public apology during an interview, he said he cited 2 incidents. A November article accusing the Selma Times-Journal of racial insensitivity. Why? Well, because they put up some cotton bales up on top of the above the fold in one of their stories, and this apparently was racial insensitivity. I don't know. The latest, of course, is the Sundown Town controversy that I have saved the city of Coleman from personally. Labeling Coleman a Sundown Town was a complete lie. They reposted the original TikTok yesterday, but they had a bunch of people criticizing it. Welcome to the party, AL.com. You finally fix your own screw-up.
Number 4.
NASA announced further delays for its Artemis lunar missions, with Artemis 3, the first crewed moon landing, there it is, in over 50 years, postponed to mid-2027. This whole program seems to be mid, if you ask me. Artemis 2 crewed flyby now expected no earlier than April of 2026. The delay stems partly from an unexpected heat shield erosion on the Orion spacecraft during uncrewed Artemis 1 mission, prompting NASA to modify the capsule's re-entry trajectory for safety. These setbacks, coupled with an impending leadership transition under the next Trump administration, raised questions about future timelines and policies for NASA's lunar exploration efforts. And, to be honest, people are worried about this, whether or not these programs will even stay in development. Lots of concern about that as well, and I think that concern is founded.
Number 3.
Daniel Penny, a Marine veteran, was acquitted of criminally negligent homicide after a controversial trial initiated by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. I mean, we could talk about how this thing never even should have started. He was accused of politicizing the case, Alvin Bragg was, ignoring evidence that Penny acted in self-defense of subway passengers threatened by Jordan Neely. The jury rejecting allegations of racial bias and siding with passengers' testimonies, including people who were not white, deemed Penny's actions justified, but the case highlighted procedural missteps, including Bragg's handling of the charges and the judge's contentious rulings. Critics argue the prosecution's approach could deter future Good Samaritans from intervening in dangerous situations, potentially putting vulnerable individuals at risk. You know, all you have to do is look at, there was another case similarly in New York City where someone stabbed a homeless person who was threatening people, and they didn't give them any charges. It's very interesting to see how justice is done sometimes.
Number 2.
United States Senator Tommy Tuberville, Republican out of Auburn, criticizing the Department of Health and Human Services for celebrating, ready for this, pansexual and pan-romantic Pride Day. Our government is so dumb. The Trump administration cannot start soon enough. It just cannot. Pan-romantic Pride Day? The hell is that? What is it? I don't even know what that is. I honestly have no idea what that is. I mean, maybe I should Google it, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I guess if you're a pansexual, congratulations for not having sex? Is that the one? No, that's asexual. What is this? I don't know. We're focusing on the dumbest things. And by the way, what does this have to do with Health and Human Services? Anything? Anyway, Tommy Tuberville said, yeah, this needs to stop, and he can't wait for Robert F. Kennedy to get in there and be the next secretary. You know, they're worried about him being a kook and crazy and brainworms and stuff. What about the people who are doing this?
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
Luigi Mangione, 26, was apprehended at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He was identified as the suspect in a fatal shooting of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City, a crime that has made him a hero amongst the worst people on the planet. Authorities linked Mangione to the crime after recovering a ghost gun, reportedly 3D printed, along with writings criticizing corporate America and the healthcare industry. There was a multi-state manhunt. Obviously, this happened in New York City. He remains in custody without bail, and the investigation continues, but he's been charged. The DNA and ballistic tests are underway to solidify the evidence in the high-profile case. Now, again, the worst people on the planet are defending this action as self-defense of his fellow Americans, which is incredibly stupid. They're also making him into a hero, which is incredibly stupid. And, ready? They're also suggesting that this guy's a fall guy. And maybe not actually the guy who did it, which is just absolutely ridiculous, especially considering in his pocket was a note that apparently said, "Let me save you the investigation. I did it, and I did it alone." Okay? By the way, the guy who saw him at the McDonald's, he said, "Yes, officers, this is the guy who killed him. I saw his eyebrows. Nobody recognized his eyebrows better than me. Quite frankly, they're huge. I don't think anyone recognized a pair of eyebrows as quickly as I did." Did you know Donald Trump was back working at McDonald's? Nailing people for running around and killing people and catching them? Oh, man, good job by Donald Trump here, right? No? That doesn't work? All right, fine. Fair enough. You can weigh in not only on my great Donald Trump impression, but on the news of the day and the 7 things right here, right now. 866-494-WVNN. That is the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line. You can jump in right there, or you can email us.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. You can get your questions in for 10 with him as well. We got a lot to get into. Keep it locked right here. More Trump impressions coming up next.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.